let's start from the beginning. My name is Darren Irabor. I'm currently a leasing consultant for one of the top managing companies in Boston. Bizzuto Management Group, the Kensington, has won the best overall property 2 years running. And it's amazing to be a part of that. As you can see, I'm very nervous. I really don't open up a lot. A lot of people don't know much about me or my life or my story. So doing this is very huge. And I hope that whatever I'm saying today could help some of you guys in whatever you're going through. And also just kind of let you know that what you're going through is very normal. You're not the only one going through what you're going through. And I've been able to learn that over a process of, I want to say, 6 or 7 years. I was adopted at the age of 3. So I want to say most of my entire life, I haven't known my parents. My mom nor my father. It was a struggle at first. I was a really tough baby. Because I was so young and I was so new to everything. All I did was cry. They wouldn't talk. I wouldn't talk at all. So after a series of, I want to say, maybe a year or two, I was able to finally get all of that under control. I'm grateful for my mom who adopted me. I thank you so much. I gotta give credit where credit's due. I wouldn't be where I am today without them. And that was actually that family and being in that house. And actually, let's talk about that house and where that house is located. And the house is located actually deep into Dorchester. If I know I'm talking to a lot of kids who can relate. You guys come from Dorchester, whether it's Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan. I grew up in those areas, so I definitely know. And I wouldn't even have to paint the picture to you guys because you guys grow up in these neighborhoods. You know how rough they are. You know once the lights go out, once the sun goes down, how dangerous it can be if you're not in a crowd, if you're by yourself. I grew up right on Spencer Street, right off of Talbot Ave, right there deep in what we call the hood. And it wasn't easy. I think if I didn't go through that experience, I probably wouldn't have made it as far as I have now. And for me to be able to say that I'm still here even after all those experiences basically shows how strong and how motivated I was to get out of those situations and out of that neighborhood. At the age, I want to say 16, I just had enough. I had enough. The neighborhood, the house I was in, just the situation that I was in, I had enough. I ended up leaving my home. And I was homeless for, I want to say, my sophomore and senior year in high school. The entire time I was homeless. Not a soul knew except for one person. And that's my friend Sheldon. He was a gentleman that I worked with, and we joined this youth program. It was called Code A, and it was basically this peer education program where we went around in the city, and we would basically talk to youth at Boys and Girls Club, at Common Square Health Center. We did so many events around the city of Boston, just about making healthy decisions and about improving our futures and kind of sharing that information on with any of the youth that we came in contact with. And from that program, we became brothers. And when I had left that house, I was homeless, I want to say, for about 3 to 4 months. I want to say about 3 to 4 months I was homeless before even speaking up. And it wasn't until Sheldon reached out to me and he asked me what was going on that I was able to open up and kind of tell him what happened. And knowing how his mom definitely wouldn't approve of me leaving the house that I was in, he hid me in his basement. And I probably lived out of that basement for, I want to say, a month before his mom found out. After a while, she just realized I was over there consistently. I was always over there for dinner. And then she finally sat me down, and then this is a little funny thing. I'll make fun of myself. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Biz Marquee, but they swore up and down that I looked like Biz Marquee, so they called me Biz. His mom called me one day. She pulls me aside. She said, "Darren, before you go upstairs." Well, no. She said, "Biz, before you go upstairs, can you come here for a second?" So I come back downstairs, and she said, "Biz, when were you gonna tell me?" And I was like, "Tell you what?" And she immediately knew. She said, "Biz, when were you gonna tell me that you were basically sleeping in my basement?" My heart immediately dropped. My heart's pounding. I'm sweating. And she's like, calm down. She said, "You know we're your family. We're here to protect you. And if you need anything, we're here to help. All you have to do is talk. All you have to do is ask. All you have to do is speak up." And she was like, "Because of the person that you are, we would gladly help you out." So she took me in. And I stayed there for about 2 weeks, and I got to meet the rest of his family, his grandmother. His grandmother basically took me into her home and pretty much raised me for a year. And I'm so appreciative of them. And I'm sharing this story because I think one of the biggest assets that will be helpful to you guys is the people around you. It is not a problem for you to ask for help. I would not be where I am today if I did not get help from many people. And as I tell my story and we go further, you'll hear the many people that input in my life and help guide me and get me to where I am today. Moving a little bit forward, I want to say junior year. I'm going through junior year, and junior year is tough. I'm missing a lot of school. So what I did was finally I got to Sheldon's home. And what happened was I finally decided I made my mind up. I finally just made my mind up. I want to walk across the stage. I want to graduate. I want to get my diploma. I want to go through the process. So it's junior year. I'm going through junior year. I'm doing terrible. I'm missing assignments. This was the year that we were actually supposed to do a 20-page paper. And this was a project that was due with 2 other people. And because I was going through what I was going through, we almost didn't get our paper in on time. And I almost caused 2 other people to fail their class. And luckily I was able to get the work in on time. But the only reason why I was able to do that was because I took the time to talk to my teachers. I took the time to stay after school and actually kind of get the work done. It took away from a lot of fun, but in the end, I was able to walk across that stage. Because of the help that I was able to ask for and be vocal about, I was able to move forward and get to the next point. Closing that chapter and maybe starting a new one. As I'm becoming an adult, as I'm starting to grow, as I'm starting to try and find my way through the world and find my niche and find out what my calling is, I basically isolated myself from everybody. I went to work at a place called Grind, it's a conference and retreat center way out in Groton, Mass. And I worked there for about 2 years as a head chef. I'm the only one there from a rough neighborhood. Working at this place changed my life. It changed the way I looked at people, the way I looked at serving, the way I looked at individual lives and turmoil and just like I learned so much in that environment. It really showed me like the tasks and stuff like that. It really showed me what I was made of and what I could actually do. So let's talk a little bit about what this environment was. So it was a conference and retreat center for special need adults and young children. And my task when I first started the job was actually a resource assistant. So my job was to basically help run all the activities, make sure the kids know what they're doing, make sure they're safe, and make sure that everyone's kind of enjoying themselves. As I grew into my role, they saw that I had a talent for helping people. So I became a counselor for this conference and retreat center. I worked with special needs adults, and these were people who couldn't fend for themselves. And as a counselor, my job was to do everything for them: feed them, wash them, bathe them, change them, change them, make sure that they're having fun, make sure that they're enjoying the activities, get to know them. And the way that the smallest things that we did affected their lives changed my mindset on everything. The littlest thing, it was, I can tell you a story of a gentleman. I won't share his information or anything, but there was a guy who was there, a special needs adult, and we were out having fun, and he's enjoying himself, and I guess he was having so much fun that he couldn't control himself, so he basically used the bathroom on himself. And the moment he saw it, he was so embarrassed. I've never seen anyone hurt so bad. And he was so embarrassed that he ran in the corner and cried. I immediately run over to him and I bring him back to the cabin. We're walking into the cabin. I put him in the shower. Me and my other counselor, we're cleaning him. We're making sure that he's all right. And the whole entire time he's in the shower crying. So we all get him dressed. We sit him down, and it's time for him to go to bed. And he looks up, he's looking at me, he's there still crying and just embarrassing. He's rolled up in the cover or whatever. I sit with him, I just say, everything's all right, man. Don't worry, it happens to the best of us, man. Please don't worry, you'll be all right, you'll be okay. And he just kept saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, it's small, I know it sounds small and it sounds very insignificant, but the smallest thing as far as making him feel comfortable, showering him and making him feel like you're not bad for what happened. Like the rest of the trip here, you couldn't shut him up. He was jumping, laughing, joking around with everybody. He was helping me like teach other people. Like he was probably one of the biggest assets there at the camp after a couple years. And that story definitely helped as far as like, think about this. Our lives are so focused on what's popular, what's going on, like what's trendy, what's trending, that we forget to help other people. I think one of the best encouraging things that I can say to you guys, there are two things that I would definitely recommend at least looking into. One is making sure that there's always someone in your life that can be a mentor to you. The second thing I could say is making sure that you're in a position where you're also passing on the information that's given to you to another person. So essentially you're mentoring another person. And through that, you start to see that you yourself will become accountable and you will start to grow. All of this has a meaning, and we're gonna keep going forward with this story. After the Gardenwood situation, I lived out there for 2 years on a camp. After a while, I felt like this was enough. I'm ready to come back to the city. I wanted to go back to school. I wanted to get my degree and and basically turn a new page in my life. So I come back to Boston, and by the skin of my teeth, I get accepted to UMass Boston, and I get into that school. And the process, and this is what I mean by making sure to always have people in your life that can help you. I took on that responsibility myself, not knowing a thing about college, about FAFSA, about how to sign up, about financial aid, any of that. I didn't know anything as far as that goes. And all I had to do was stop and ask. All I had to do was stop and ask for help, and that could have saved me so much debt. I got to that school, I screwed up my FAFSA, I screwed up my financial aid, and I ended up owing that school just off of one semester, $20,000. And I had to pay that off, and I have like, I want to say about 7,000 to go now. But like, I've been working with it slowly but surely and getting that paid off. But if I had just asked for help or just spoke to someone about getting some help, I wouldn't have been in that position. So I went there and I totally botched it at UMass Boston. And feeling down on myself, I felt like there was nothing else that I could do. And at this point in time, I had nowhere to go, there was nowhere to live. So I'm trying to figure out, how am I going to generate income? How am I going to fend for myself, knowing that no one else is going to do that for me? I got an overnight security job working at an art museum. And it just feels like my life is slowly but surely just like dwindling away, like just wasting, like during that amount of time. And I'm just like, it's like I was the only one in that building the entire night for about 2 to 3 years. And that was a lot of time for me to self-reflect and find out a lot about myself. So during that time, I would say I probably did a lot of growing. And while I was there at that job, my manager, though, I have a manager, and he gave me a lot of help from learning. It's crazy, but I'm at this age, I'm probably 21, 22, and I'm just learning how to tie a tie. He showed me a few things as far as like cufflinks and just different things as far as just knowing things and like knowing your surroundings. And he gave me a book. To this day, I say this book is probably the best book that has changed my life and that has done so much for me. It's a book called The Slight Edge by a gentleman by the name of Jeff Olson. And in this book, Jeff Olson breaks it down. And it's a very long book. It's a lot of information. So if you're gonna read it, I would recommend just reading 10 pages a day. Just 10 pages a day, take your time, nothing too stressful, and just consistently do that and watch how it benefits and how things around you start to change. In this book, he breaks down success, and he basically shows you some points to improve your life. And it's not drastic points, it's not anything major, it's not you get up and all of a sudden instantly you're a new person. No, basically it's very simple. He broke it down this way. People get it mixed up all the time. You think that success equals happiness. I'll go through turmoil now, but in the end, I'll be happy once I'm successful and I have all this money and whatever. It's actually quite the opposite way. If you find out and if you talk to people and you get interested in their lives and you talk to them, I've learned this out because I've met so many people, I've spoken to so many people, is that happiness actually is the start of everything. You have to be happy with yourself, happy with your surroundings, happy with everything that you're going through. And then from there, that'll then propel you to basically grow and succeed. There's a process in which we all experience life. You plant, you cultivate, and then from there you harvest. And by that, this is what I mean. By planting, I mean this. My planting was done by speaking and reaching out to people for help. That was my planting. I planted the seeds. Look, I have this issue. I need help. How do I achieve this goal? What do I do? Listen. I took it in. I listened to it. I internalized it. That's the cultivate. That's the cultivate part. And then harvest. As you cultivate, you then start to learn these small habits that you can develop. And this is not to say that I'm perfect and that everything that I'm doing right now is right on point and I'm following all these habits. No, it's a daily thing that I struggle with and that I battle with every day and trying to stay consistent. And basically what it is the cultivating period was me internalizing the book that I was reading. That was the cultivating and learning these different habits and figuring out the goals for my life. So let's talk about what happened. He gave me his ideas. He gave me the book to read. He helped me out. That was the planting phase. Well, the planting phase was actually opening up to him and telling him, this is what I need. This is what I've been through. What is your advice? How have you gone about your success in life? And he broke it down to me. I listened to him, and then the cultivating period was me actually reading that book and applying it to my life. The harvest is when you start to see everything pay off, everything that you've been going through, all the hard work. And here's what happened. I'm working the overnight security job. From there, I got promoted to the lead security officer. It was the 7 to 3 p.m. shift. And in that shift, I excelled. I excelled at the top level. I became a supervisor in that position, and from there I was able to reach out to other people. And then this is where again everyone involved in my life helped me get to that next level. So now we begin to harvest. Because of my hard work and because of my consistent efforts at this place, there was a gentleman that I knew. His name is Mitchell Haley. He saw my work ethic. He saw how hard I was working. He saw my growth too, because he saw when I had nothing. He saw when I didn't, when I was struggling at UMass Boston, and he knew me all the way up until the point. So he saw the growth. And when he saw that growth, he decided to take a chance on me and asked me if I'd like an overnight concierge position. So I worked all the way to the top of the IC. I climbed that ladder. I hit my peak. And then now you start to see the harvest happening. Mitch reaches out to me. He says, I have an overnight position. It's going to pay you blah, 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 blah. The manager there, he's going to be very tough to work with. But if you work at this position and you excel, a lot can happen from there. So again, taking these points of one, making sure that I'm in a place where I'm happy, making sure that I'm in the place of always staying aware, making sure that I'm in the place of always reading. I was kept reading that book, maybe 10 pages a day and it almost took me, I'm not a huge reader. I'm not a huge reader of books, I'll admit that. So it took me, I want to say, about 6-7 months to get through that book. And what I would do is basically on the way to work, I would put my headphones on and I would read 10 pages on my way to work on the train as I'm going in. That happened. I was able to start some habits, some great habits, and then therefore I got the concierge position. I interviewed there, and immediately I was accepted to the overnight position. Now, the overnight position I accepted was the overnight ambassador of the Kensington, the building that I currently work at now. So I'm the overnight ambassador at the Kensington, and I'm working through each shift. I'm getting through each shift, and oh my goodness, there was one point in time I would work 24 hours straight. Like, oh my gosh, I would work 2 shifts, and then after that I have to come back work another shift. I'd get 4 hours off, and then I have to go work another 18-hour shift. And this was, I want to say, this went on for about 5 to 6 months. But again, that was the cultivating period of me putting that hard work in. So the plant was talking to Mitch, getting set up with Mitch. The cultivate was me working that overnight position, not complaining, getting through those hours, getting through those tough shifts, and knowing that one day this is all gonna benefit me. So as this is going on, my performance didn't go unnoticed. So as I'm working there, as I'm working the overnight position, they slowly but surely worked me into the evening concierge. So I stopped filling in for people when they called out. So I started meeting a lot more residents. I started meeting more people and speaking to them and talking to them and basically sharing again, planting that seed. And as I'm planting that seed, people started to notice the hard work. People started to see the fruit of what I was planting. So as they're seeing that, we begin to cultivate a little bit more. I started to develop relationships with the management office. I started to develop relationships with the residents there. And slowly but surely, I was able to get into a few of the day positions. So I started working the 3 to 11 shift. Then I would work the first shift, 7 to 3 shift, just filling in. And when I did, I made sure that my mindset was always to help others and pass on whatever I could. Always help, consistently helping others. As I got through that position, my manager at the time at the Kensington, he saw my hard work and he said, we want you. We want to take you and we want to help you and we want to help shape and mold you. And that was inspiring. That was definitely inspiring, and that definitely helped me look at things a lot differently. So he says, just be patient, continue to work your shifts, continue to work through what you're going through, and just know that this is going to pay off. So I want to say a month or so goes by, and they offer me a full-time concierge position at the Kensington. And it was amazing to be able to be in there and be able to contribute the way that I was able to contribute. So I finally get accepted to the Bizzuto company, and I'm going through the process, and we're starting off. And at this point in time, and this is pretty cool, I meet a gentleman by the name of Mike. And Mike doesn't know this, and I've never said this, so he'll probably be hearing this in the video, but I couldn't have gotten as far as I did in the Kensington without Mike. Mike is he's a father of 2 children, and he's probably the happiest person on the face of the planet. This guy comes in every single day consistently happy, and you could never tell anything was going on. You could never tell anything was going on. Me and Mike, we started working the 7 to 3 shift, and immediately we hit it off. We took the customer service to a whole nother level. We elevated I feel like we elevated that lobby. The both of us, we both put in a lot of work and elevated our concierge teams. It was very small things that we both did. One is just simply smiling. We smiled and we greeted everyone who came through those doors. It's always about the people who are involved in your life. As I'm watching Mike and watching his performance, my performance basically piggybacked off his. I felt like at one point in time it was a healthy competition, but we would work hard, and we would try to if Mike was gonna go and do the packages, I was gonna make sure that I was logging them in and making sure that everyone it was organized, and you know what I mean. We would go back and forth with basically competing on how do we succeed and how do we seal the deal and get all of this done, and let's see who can get it first. And our team, we would be competitive to other teams during the day, and we would just work so hard. And it got to the point where residents called us the A-team. The A-team, and I don't know if Mike remembers this, but to this day I still say we're the A-team. We came in and we just from the beginning we just worked hard, and we were able to be proud and know that we laid everything out there in that lobby, and we gave everything we had, and it paid off. Mike is now lead concierge of the Kensington. He started off as a doorman. He's now the lead concierge of the Kensington. And he's excelling, winning awards left and right, and doing amazing things for the Kensington. And this is all based off of staying focused, small disciplines every day, keeping yourself focused. And again, that happiness factor is making sure that you are happy, even if it's tough to stay happy. And when I say happy, I don't mean by smiling all the time, joking and laughing, and you have to be, oh hey, ha ha ha, every single day, because that's not the truth. You're gonna go through times that are really hard. You're gonna go through times that are gonna be really tough. But what I mean by happiness is I basically mean your philosophy of thinking about a situation. And I don't want to get fancy or anything, so I'll just say this: your mindset affects your performance. And I'm even learning that now as I'm working in the position that I am in now, that your mindset and your philosophy on how to approach a situation affects everything. Now, when I say a happy philosophy or a happy mindset, I basically mean this. A mindset of a person that wants to succeed, or a person that wants to get to that next level, is simply this: how can I help you? How can I help get you to that next level? How can I fill in that void? Let's say, so a good thing that me and Mike would do, and this is a great example, was if Mike was behind the desk, even though I was a concierge, I would jump to the door and immediately be the doorman. It didn't matter. Wherever you need to fill in or whatever you need to do, that's the mindset. I wasn't always happy to be the doorman. I wasn't always happy to be doing what I was doing, but it was more so the mindset that I'm not here for me. I'm here for a purpose. I'm here to do this. I'm here to do that. So whatever needs to get done, I'm gonna do it. We pretty much, and from there, I learned so much. And I have to say this too. The Bozzuto company has done a great job of grooming, and giving their employees the tools to succeed. Whether it's trainings, whether it's an onboarding advisor, whether it's our managers showing patience after patience after patience after patience. They have done an amazing job, and I have to say that again. It's the people who are involved in my life that have gotten me where I am today. And I wouldn't be in accepting the leasing position that I'm in now, which I told you guys where we started off at. Now we get to start talking about where I am now. from the concierge position, I expressed to my manager that I'm actually looking to become a part of the leasing team. At that point in time in my life, I feel like I was very confident in everything that I was doing, and I really felt that my calling was to help people, and being able to speak to people the way that I was able to. I felt like I could use that tool to help me sell some apartments and start leasing at the Kensington. So slowly but surely, they say, all right, we'll start cross training you. And I start off, and I was doing excellent. I got my first lease in March of last year, and like from there on, I was very happy. I was very on point. I was very on top of everything, and I grew from there. From there, they saw that I was working hard and that I showed a little bit of progress. So I was told that once a position opens up, I'm the next one in. And my mind was blown. I was like, you guys want to take a chance on me? I have no experience of sales. I have no experience in an office environment. You're talking about an overnight security, from an overnight security guard to a concierge to now I'm gonna be working in a management office. That is huge. That was huge for me, and that was huge for my life, and it's still huge, and I'm still working on today. So I'm learning little by little, getting encouragement here, left and right. And I want to tell you guys, I make, as in I still do, make so many mistakes. Messing up, screwing up, and it's not from a lack of effort. It's not from a lack of not wanting to work hard. And I'm still learning how to apply all of these daily disciplines to help me succeed at the job that I'm in now, and continuing to stay open and ask for help. So we talk about present day Darren. I have the position in the leasing office now. So woo! It was good. I was able to work and get into that position. But now, does that mean I stop where I'm at? Does that mean I give up? Does that mean I achieve what I wanted? Now what happens from here? No, it doesn't mean that. What happens now is I then have to start doing the same exact things that got me that concierge position, that got me that security job, that got me to the leasing position. I need to continuously do those things, which is talking, being open, changing my philosophy, not letting any failures keep me down, because failures are gonna happen. Everyone's gonna fail. Famous stories, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan tried out for his high school basketball team and they laughed. They said he was too small and he wouldn't succeed in basketball. Fast forward a few years into the future, Michael Jordan became the reigning MVP, won 6 championships with the Chicago Bulls, and carried them to become one of the best teams in all of Chicago Bulls history and NBA history. And that's simply because of his will and fortitude to continue to push on. And it wasn't major things or issues that he did. He just slowly but surely, small disciplines. It doesn't matter where you start off. It doesn't matter what position you're in now. It doesn't matter what you're going through right now. If you want to make a change in your life, it is very possible. It just takes small daily efforts of just changing your philosophy. And I guarantee you from there, so much will happen for you, so much will grow for you. And for me to be able to say that I'm still here even after all those experiences basically shows how strong and how motivated I was to get out of those situations and out of that neighborhood.